These next two slides come to us from our friends at United Alliance Mortgage, and they'd be happy to run a report like this for you should you have somebody who's on the fence on renting versus buying. This report shows a specific house. They can run any address that you want, and it will compare that address with the average rents that are around that property. So it's a true comparison of the cost of renting versus buying. So this first slide is an investment analysis. It shows the rent versus the principal payment, the interest that you'd pay as a homeowner, and then the property taxes, the insurance, maintenance, and repairs. Obviously, you don't have maintenance and repairs or taxes when you're renting, so that's going to keep that cost a little lower. You will have a little insurance that you'll pay, renter's insurance. So you can see the two columns here. Buying, you have the first year, that first column adds up to almost $1,800. Renting is only slightly higher at $1,887. So even in the first year in this cost analysis, home ownership is better. Not by much, but it is still a little cheaper. By the time you get to year 9, though, the rent has increased dramatically, but the principal has gone up, so you're actually putting more toward the actual payment. The amount of interest that you're paying has gone down, and the taxes and insurance have probably gone up a little bit. That's reflected here as well. But even with those considerations, by the end of year 9, you're looking at $1,856 for the cost of owning a home versus a little over $3,000 to rent. So it's a dramatic difference over time, and it is really something that works in your favor and shows in black and white the benefits of home ownership. The next slide is another continuation of the investment analysis. And this is, again, part of that report that United Alliance Mortgage can run for you. The report includes a lot more than what these two slides show. It's very thorough. But this shows in a graph form the increase, the net gain that you have in home ownership. So this shows, I believe this was a $200,000 house, and over a 9-year period, the net gain is $113,826. That number comes from the gain in appreciation, so that home is increasing in value over that time. It comes from the difference in cash flow, so the amount that you're paying, the stability of payment that we talked about versus the increase in rent. That number, the difference there is $62,000. The amortization gain, this is talking about your principal amount that you're paying towards. So it's kind of a forced savings account, like that Dennis mentioned. So that's over $20,000. And so you have all of that, and then they even took into account the closing costs to buy the home and what it would cost if you decided to sell in year 9. So it's a very thorough analysis of the cost involved in owning a home, and even with those costs, you still come out $113,000 ahead.